Hello everybody, welcome to this video channel. My name is Amanda Ellis. I specialise in the energy of Archangel Metatron, and I am also a colour therapist, and I combine both approaches. I have created a range of aura sprays, aura energy sprays linked to Metatron's energy, which I refer to in my videos, and the purpose of that is because they're intended to help get Metatron's energy out there on a wider basis, and they're available on my website to buy. Today I've made another video which I'm going to be putting onto my channel page, which is a sort of general overview of energy for this month. But I wanted to do a specific video on the two new sprays that I've created, which are linked to loss and grief, and also passing over and death. And they're made from the perspective of somebody that is about to pass, and also the people that are left behind. So we're looking at two different subjects, and we're bringing Metatron's love and guidance into that to hopefully give us some support and help from a higher plane's perspective. The first one that I would like to talk about is this particular energy, which I have called Rainbow Bridge Spirit Release. And this energy is intended to help people to pass over who maybe have a lot of fear or attachment to the earthly plane, or indeed even if they haven't got a lot of fear, but for whatever reason they are really hanging on and hanging on and hanging on, and their soul is a little bit in turmoil because the soul wants to go but the physical body is holding back for some reason. And this particular bottle, this particular energy came about because through synchronistic ways, which is what always happens with these things, I became aware of a number of people in my circle, whether they were clients or friends or associates, who seem to have there seem to be a lot of people at the moment who are very ill and about to pass over. I know a lot of people myself, more so than normal, and I was thinking, what's going on here? You know, it seems like there's a group of souls just, for whatever reason, collectively, that are hanging on, but almost need help with the thing about letting go from the earthly plane. I also came across a number of people who came to see me who, I guess, are recently bereaved, and told me stories about loved ones who did eventually pass. But again, this same pattern of either being maybe kept alive through artificial means, you know, drugs for longer than they wanted to, or for whatever reason there was just this hanging on, and the soul sort of looking a bit in torment with the whole process of passing. And it got me thinking, or rather it got Metatron thinking about, is there something we could do energy-wise to not obviously advance somebody's passing over before their time, because that would not be right, but something to help a particular person when they approach death, to be at peace with passing when it happens. And so this, in a way, Metatron talks about spirit release energy very much as being something which is like a tonic or a helper for the soul, to sort of, the soul is always in charge, of course, but to give the soul that encouragement and support and love that it's safe to go home, to go back to wherever it is we came from. And you may all have different opinions about that. But certainly from my perspective and my understanding of what Metatron has told me is that life is eternal. We do live on, our soul lives on, and whether we believe we reincarnate or not, it's an eternal process. So why should we fear what is basically transition from one state of being to another state of being, which is what death is. Right, I've chosen a few cards before I actually directly channel Metatron here. And the first one that I picked up related to this subject of people needing help at that final hurdle, as it were. It interestingly is this card, and can you see the image on that? It's actually called Liberation. It's Archangel Jophiel, and I'm realising actually as I'm holding it up that I'm also wearing this top today, which is new. I've not worn it before, and it's also covered in a way the same imagery, which is birds and the symbolism of freedom, which is really what the soul is hankering after when the physical body maybe has got to a place where it can no longer maintain itself, or something's happened to the physical body to snuff out life too early. But the soul wants to be free. The soul wants to soar again onto its next part of its journey. So we've got that vibration coming in today. We've also got the 2 cards linked into Archangel Zadkiel, who I must admit I'm not an expert on, don't know an awful lot about Zadkiel, could obviously Google it quite easily, but the 2 energies that we have here, and these are cards, these are the Angel of Atlantis cards by Stuart Pearce that I'm using. We've got surrender and we've got compassion. And again, in a way, the card of surrender is so much linked into this thing about the desire for freedom, just to surrender into spirit and into the control of your soul, which many people haven't been in touch with in their earthly life. You know, they may have glimpsed it in meditation or healing or prayer, or however they choose to connect to the divine. But most of the time, if we're honest, you know, our soul is not necessarily the thing that is driving us all the time in earthly life, because we get taken over by very earthly things that have to be seen to, like the shopping and the cooking and looking after children and going and doing our job. And, you know, it's very, very easy to forget the soul. And actually the soul is the one that brought us here, and the soul takes us back to wherever it is that we came from. So I think I'd like at this point just to connect into what Archangel Metatron wants to say about the whole subject of spirit release. And maybe if you have somebody in your life who you know needs help with this, you could maybe tune into them. As I say, it is not going to push anybody into a place of death quicker than they're meant to. It purely is something which helps support the soul and the body as well to let go when the time is right. And Metatron is saying, sort of tie up a lot of loose ends that often need to be tied up at the end of somebody's life. Okay, and I can feel what he wants to say here, so I'm just going to spray this around me, and it is like a rainbow white light that I'm just pushing around my aura, just so I can tune into the energy of this for you. Tying up loose ends, firstly, is about, just let Metatron speak. So often at the end of life, there are things that need to be said, things that need to be resolved, and this goes unsaid or undone a lot of the time. This is also exacerbated by modern medicine, which may put people into a drugged state where they are not able to communicate effectively right at the end. The Rainbow Bridge Spirit Release energy helps to prolong the period where talking is possible and resolution is possible, so that whatever needs to be said can be said in this lifetime. If the person about to pass is not able to do this, please be assured that this energy that I, Metatron, am wrapping around them helps them to hear what it is that you have to say. So you can be reassured that the message is getting through to your loved one and that they can hear what it is that needs to be said. It also works for you as the person saying goodbye, to give you the courage to allow them across the rainbow bridge, because a lot of death is held back by loved ones understandably not wanting to let their person that they love go. And the soul at this time and the body at this time can feel that. And it makes it more difficult to pass over quickly. And you may well have experienced this yourself, where almost as soon as loved ones go out of the room, that is the moment where the person passes. So the Rainbow Bridge energy just helps not just the person to pass, but the person who is to be left to let go and allow their loved one across the rainbow bridge, and for their spirit to soar and be released. Metatron would like at this moment to do a short prayer where we release the spirit of anybody who is trapped at this moment in time to the light. What he is saying is that most of the time people are released to the light straight away, but there are occasions where some can be trapped on the earthly plane even though they have passed over. And so what this energy does is to ensure 100% that they are gone, they have left with love and compassion and are soaring to their new planes of existence with light. I am being told now that it would be nice for each of us watching this to remember the people who have likely passed as a result of the air crash in Malaysia over the last few days. And he is saying that the truth of this will emerge in time, and that there is a story of light and dark to come from this. For the people that passed, there was a soul contract, as there is with any person that dies, whether from a human perspective we see it as their natural time or we see it as a life cut short. But he stresses that every single person that dies in whatever circumstance, the soul has at some level chosen that. But in acts of trauma or accident or terrorism or war or whatever situation has arisen here with this particular plane, these people can need a push towards the light because there is a shock associated with the sudden passing, which the physical body wasn't necessarily prepared for, even though the soul was prepared for. So I feel as though I would like to spray orange, which is absorbing shock, and I would like to send an orange ray out to every single one of those passengers. And I would also like to send that orange ray to every single person who has been affected by it or who is bereaved as a result of it. And then I would like to spray the rainbow bridge spray once more. And I would like us watching this in a sacred space just now to imagine a rainbow bridge forming, allowing anybody that is shocked as a result of having passed quickly to see the colours of this rainbow bridge in front of them and to start walking that path over to the other side and to the light. And straight away you can feel the energy of some souls already doing that. And then we can widen that out past the immediate and tragic news from the aeroplane crash to anything else in our world. Anybody else that we know who may have passed in tragic scenarios or sudden scenario, and that you may be worried about. I would just like you now to imagine them passing over this rainbow bridge with Metatron helping them to cross over. And as they take steps away from the earthly plane, they can feel their body becoming lighter, and they start to embrace the joy, and they surrender into their new way of being with light and love and higher understanding. And we pour blessings and we pour compassion onto those who have been left behind and ask for help. Okay. I'd just now like to connect him once more just to the rainbow bridge spray. Death is not a disaster. Death is never a tragedy for the person that goes. Death is a release. Death takes us back to the place from which we came. But no one should reach for this before the time that their soul knows is the right time for them to exit this planet. Life is precious, and life is to be enjoyed for as long as possible. The rainbow bridge spray also reminds us of the cycle of life and how, as one person passes, another person is born. And we often see this in families where somebody may make space, literally, for a newer member to come through. Talking here as Amanda, I've seen that twice in my own family and my own life. And both times when I have given birth to two children, my two beautiful children, there were people within my family who passed over to make room for them. And this is quite a common thing to happen. It doesn't mean that it has to happen by any stretch of the imagination, but it can. And in a way, it is a reminder of the cycle of life. And even though death on one level can seem very final, it is actually a rebirth for the person who is to pass. So this spray, Rainbow Bridge, this energy, Rainbow Bridge, is intended to help each person get in touch with peace and support and love, and to take Metatron's hand at that right moment, and for Metatron to almost help orchestrate the moment of passing, both for the person to go and the people who are left behind. And as I say, it can also be done after the event, so it can be used with intention to help the person that has gone fully step into the light and across the rainbow bridge as we have just done. Okay, I would like to now look at another energy, which is the energy of those left behind, the energy of loss and grief. And I've chosen this very, I don't know if the colour comes across particularly well on the video, but it's actually a very beautiful powder blue bottle. All of these bottles, by the way, it's the glass that is coloured, so the energies are constantly regenerated with the colour is constantly regenerated with inside the bottle. It's a powder blue colour, and I've called it Bluebell Bridge for loss and grief. And one of the guides who is helping me with these new sprays, as well as Metatron, is Vicky Wall, and she was a pioneer of the Aurosoma system of colour therapy and is now passed over. And she showed me the image of a bluebell wood when I was wanting to first think of even making up a spray. And it just seems so perfect because there's something very delicate and precious about bluebells. And of course they come, certainly in the Northern Hemisphere where I live, they come through right after, the darkness of winter, literally the darkness of winter in terms of short days and long nights, but also the harshness of conditions. And then you see these little shoots of crocuses and bluebells and daffodils, and it's always the arrival of the lighter months ahead. And so I like that symbolism of springtime and again rebirth for the person that is left behind. But also the bluebell feels very delicate, and that we have to tread carefully when we are looking at loss and grief. And we also have to take care of ourselves with that. There are 3 cards that I chose in relation to this subject. And the first one is this, Archangel Uriel, and it's the card of friendship. Really important, obviously, when we are grieving, to surround ourselves with like-minded people. Don't need a huge number of people, just need somebody that you can turn to, that you can actually talk to about your feelings and share exactly what's what, as well as being supported by them. And that may be just being very little things like somebody making you dinner, or it may be big things. The abundance card might seem like a funny one to pick here when we're looking at loss and grief, but really it's reminding you of the abundance of the universe. And even though maybe at this time you feel as though you have nothing left, it's actually showing, and it's a really lovely rainbow there up there, which is saying there is still life to be lived, and there are still many colours and energies in the universe that want to come in and bless you and support you and help you to a future where once again you are abundant and you're living your life full. And the third card I've got is the Miracles card, and it's the Metatron card. And actually, interestingly, can you see we've got a picture of a baby here, which really is linking into what Metatron was just saying about new life coming in as a result of people passing over. So, and of course, if you believe in reincarnation, which I personally do, it's also remembering that, you know, people can pass in families and then they can come back a generation or two later. So you actually can have another go in a way in terms of trying to work out karma or just be at peace with that particular person's energy. But also Miracles is saying that even though you may not feel like it at this moment in time, because you are grieving, that the miracle of life can come in and you can be reborn again. So I think what I'd like to do here is I'd just like to go straight and spray this spray. So maybe you'd like to imagine a very beautiful bluebell energy coming in around you, bluebell bridge spray. And the first thing Metatron says is it's important, these two bottles both had bridge in their name. So the bridge unites the person that has gone and the person that is left, because there is no separation. They are still around you just as much as they ever have been. And I'm going really cold and goosebumps all over as soon as I say that. So there's absolutely spirit coming in here as I'm talking to you. And what they are saying is that we are happy and we are at peace on the other side, and they are urging you to be happy in the life that you have left and to make the most of it, because the energy of the people I've got behind me here are saying that they enjoyed their life, and that some of them are saying they look forward to coming back again, but they enjoyed their life and they want you to enjoy it as well and not be burdened down by loss and grief for too long. There can be a respectful period of mourning, but beyond that, they want you to be going back out there and having fun and finding the miracle in life once again. Okay, so let's connect again. The first thing, yeah, I'm being reminded here. I've got Vicky here as well, and she's saying creating this spray was a joy, because it is literally, it smells like a bouquet of spring flowers. That's what it smells like. It's got a lot of different aromatherapy oils in it. And my friend Jill in Holland, who I sent a bottle of this to, she came up with quite a funny story where she said to me that the postman was actually sniffing the package as he was about to put it through her door. And then she opened the door and he said, God, this smells like a bouquet of flowers. And it was the bottle, obviously, it was inside the package. And that's the intention of it, because both Metatron and Vicky were saying when I created this spray, that if you think about when we have maybe a funeral service for somebody or a memorial service, there are flowers, and there rightly should be flowers, because flowers lift vibration and they're very important. It's actually very important to have colour in funeral services or memorial services, because colour lifts the vibration and it helps the soul that has gone also to feel joyous, and it also helps the congregation to feel joyous. So not too much black, actually, to use colour consciously at the moment of death as well. Yeah, they were both saying that the flowers are lovely for the person that's gone, but don't forget the person that is left. So actually, whether it's that you're spraying something which smells like a bouquet of flowers, or you buy yourself flowers, but you put colour back into your life, because in a way, death and grief is about having the colour stripped out of life for a period of time, and hopefully that's not for too long, but the recovery is about putting the colour back. So that was very much the intention with this particular energy. Okay, going straight to what Metatron wants to say here. He's saying, put your feet back on the floor. Those of you that are bereaved or have lost something precious in your life, whether it be a person or a thing or an object, loss is very personal and can cover a huge number of subjects. But he's saying that he understands and he sees your sorrow, and he has great compassion and love for you at this period of time, and wants to actually wrap you in a bluebell shawl or cloak, which is very soft, but it is very, very strong. Within colour therapy, he's reminding us that the lighter the colour, the stronger the vibration. This is a very protective shawl or cloak that's being placed around you to give you strength in the days ahead, but also to bring comfort and to be able to start to remember the happier times, or to remember, or to start to see the higher meaning at play here, and to come to terms with your loss. It can help to, it's important to release emotion, he says, and not to bottle up how you feel, to find a space and a person to talk to, and to release tears if they need to be released. It's important to have ritual so that you have a set time, maybe in your day, where you can sit and have an opportunity to heal. And he's asking each of you who are experiencing grief or loss at the moment to allot a particular time of day where you sit quietly and you allow his energy to come through you. And he's saying you don't have to know the whys or the wherefores or how to do this. All he's asking is that you sit quietly and in a meditative state with your feet firmly on the floor, and just please open your heart and allow his energy to come in around you. And the more that you do that, the more that you will start to feel his presence in your life. There is a description of a meditation which I've put onto the website, which talks about, or Metatron talked about, a garden of remembrance, where you go and sit in this garden of remembrance, and the loved one that you've lost comes in through the gate, and you're able to sit together with Metatron and just be in that presence again for a short period of time. But Metatron is very much about trying to help push you out back into the wider world and to see the sunshine, but to have a place of sanctuary and a place where you can respectfully sit and grieve is important, as well as bringing his energy into that situation. Okay. I just want to feel if there's anything else that he would like to say to us today. Okay, there is a final thing. Please be thankful and grateful and respectful of the person that you have loved, but also be real. There is a danger in death that we look through rose-coloured spectacles, that we repaint somebody's history in the way that we would like it repainted, that we only remember the stuff that we want to remember. Please remember the person in their entirety. Please remember the person with all the shades of colour that they held in their life. The beautiful bits, maybe the not so beautiful bits. It made them the person that they were. And do not rewrite history, because it actually is a disservice to the person that lived. Remember them as they actually were. I just would like to beam out that Metatron energy to you now, just for a little bit. I'd just like you to sit back and just to receive the energy of Metatron as we finish off. Life is beautiful. Live it. Do it for yourself. Do it for those that love you. Do it for your ancestors that brought you to this point. Do it as well as you can for future generations that are going to come through you. And plant the light as bright as you can, even in the darker moments. Okay, thank you. Thank you for listening. I wish you love and support, and anybody that is currently going through loss, grief, or the difficult period of letting go in terms of somebody about to pass, I ask Metatron to really be with you and wrap his loving arms around you and for you to be at peace. Thanks everybody. I'll speak to you again in April. Lots of love. Bye.